My name is Felicia McClanahan, and my husband and I, David, we started fostering around 2004, 2005, and we just felt that that was something that God had called us to do, to help children. He had blessed us in so many different ways, and we just felt that that was something that He was leading us down the path to help children really that needed the help. And it really opened our eyes to a whole new world. So we've had kids that have been brought to us in the middle of the night, and you know, we as adults were thinking, you know, everything should be fine. I mean, they shouldn't be scared, they shouldn't be. But if we think about it, I mean, how would we feel if we had to be ripped from the only place that we knew, the only people we knew, and all of a sudden we're, you know, thrown in the laps of a family that, you know, they're all smiles and, you know, oh, we love you, but, you know, they're like, well, I don't even know who you are. And so it was just very eye-opening in that respect of trying to see it through the child's eyes. We have two biological children in our home, two girls, Morgan and Kirsten. And when we started fostering, you know, they have to do a whole home study on you and everything. And you fill out an application and you kind of talk about, well, you know, if you're going to bring children in your home, if there's a certain age range or anything like that. And my husband and I, we prayed about that, and we felt that it would be best if we had children that were younger than ours. And for the most part, we've done that over the years, and it has worked out really well. You know, right now they're older. One is 20 in college, and the other one's sophomore in high school, and they are a tremendous help in the fostering of the children. So we, you know, rely on them quite a bit to help us. The kids adore them that come in. A lot of times I think that takes away some of the fear that the children coming into our home would have if there were just adults there. I think they're a little bit more on guard, but when they see other kids, even with mine being teenagers now, it lets them kind of let their guards down a little bit, and that they can relax around them a little bit. So it's been really great. The way we got into fostering, my husband had been talking about it for probably over a year. Here we still have been blessed with this home, and we've been blessed with two jobs that, you know, with good salaries, and he just felt, you know, really that God was leading us to the path of helping children that didn't have anything. And it took me a lot longer to come on board. I had fears coming into this. I, you know, didn't know anything about what the kids would be like, you know, or is it going to be like a horror film, you know, that you're sleeping at night and they come in, you know, with something, you know, to hurt you. And so all these fears kind of held me back for about a year. And God kept talking to me, and every time I would hear a word, you know, putting me on the path of fostering, I would come up with an excuse. My husband would try to talk with me about it, but I was dead set on whatever my excuse was. Well, the final straw was the PATH classes. When you go into fostering, you have to take weeks of PATH classes. And I was like, well, you know, we both work full-time. We cannot, and we have two children of our own, still in, one in elementary school. You know, we cannot take away from work or even in the evening and traipse off to Knoxville to take these classes that are going to be, you know, 8 weeks or more. And it just happened to be around that time that we had a speaker from Childhelp come to our church. And he let all of us know in the congregation that our preacher was kind enough to open up our church to allow them to come in and conduct PATH classes for parents in the region that wanted to be foster parents. And I finally broke down and said, okay, God, I get it. I get it. This is what you want us to do. So that's how we got into the fostering, you know, 100%. And we love being with Childhelp. There was other opportunities that you could go with DCS itself. They have their own foster families. But we chose to go with Childhelp, and it's so good to have an agency that you're working with. They're kind of a buffer between the DCS department, and you know, they offer the help that maybe the other agents normally couldn't provide because of the workloads. I think one of the best aspects of being a foster parent is it grows you as a person. Um, we go through life and we tend to be self-centered. That's one of our downfalls, human nature. And with fostering, and it's been so great that we've had several people that have to keep reminding us, it's about the kids, it's not about you. And, to go into fostering, it can't be for self-gratification. There are going to be times that, the kids are going to be so angry. You're the closest thing to them at that point, and they're going to lash out at you. So you have to be able to remember what they're going through and step back and not have hurt feelings over that, and let them, have their time. And since we have adopted a little girl right now, we are a home that is basically providing respite care for other foster parents. So, and in doing that, I think it would be a great opportunity for families that aren't quite sure about fostering, that if they would go through the PATH classes and be trained as a foster parent, that perhaps going through an agency like Childhelp, they could start out as a respite home. There's a lot of foster families out there that just need a break. They just need that weekend break. For those that are thinking of getting into fostering, but they have that bit of hesitancy, such as I did, that fear of the unknown. Our future is unknown. We don't know what tomorrow is going to bring. And you just have to jump in with both feet. And I think that was the lesson that God had for me. My husband was ready to jump in both feet at the first calling. I had to go kicking and screaming. So my tip would be that you just jump in it. I do this just truly, I believe that this is something that God has asked us to do, my husband and I. It's not easy. I work full-time, my husband works full-time, and he travels for his job. So we're not likely candidates for foster parents, but it's worked. We've been able to do this. It's about the kids that need the care. We could have, and I had someone tell us this, we were very frustrated. We were ready to give it up, probably a year or so in. And he said, you know what? Whether you have kids for 7 days or you have kids for 3 years, it's about what you do while you have them. And so that's what we need to concentrate on, is what impact can we have on a child's life. I think the hardest part for us is sometimes letting go. You get very attached to the children, and sometimes, you think things are going to go a direction, and it does a 180 on you. For most of the children that come through foster care, reunification with a biological parent or a biological family member is really most of the time is the goal. And you know that as a foster parent, but when you have a child in your home, you get very attached to them, and you do love them as one of your own. And that, is one of the hardest things, is when, you need to say that goodbye. And you don't know what happens. It's not, like if you had best friends that lived next door and they moved to a different state, and you can call and check up on them. Hey, how are things going? And you can't do that because you don't know where, they are, and you don't have that way to contact them. So we just have to have faith in God that, He's protecting them, He's taking care of them, and that all is well. With one of the kids that we had, we knew that we were doing the right thing when she began to turn around in her personality, in the way she tried at school. She was actually talking about when she graduates high school and goes to college. This was a child that when she first came in with us, that, she was never going to be anything. She had zero self-confidence. And so when you see that turning point in their life, it's worth it. You know?
There are over 6,000 children in the state of Tennessee foster care system. We need your help. If you've ever thought about being a foster or adoptive parent, please call us at Childhelp at 579-5498.